I'm Linda Lewis. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Walker County in Jasper, Alabama, and very excited to be here today to tell you our story and how waterways impact our economy in Walker County. Several years ago, Lewis Smith Lake was selected one of 13 waterways in the state of Alabama designated on the Alabama Bass Trail, which has been tremendous for us. When I say this, we get anglers from all over the world and the United States to participate in various fishing tournaments that bring in anywhere from 400 anglers to 600 anglers. And when they come into our area, they are shopping in our malls, they are eating in our restaurants, they're buying gas, and while the anglers are on the lake, their families are hopefully buying retail, exploring different opportunities in our area. And it's not uncommon for us to see an estimated economic impact to our area anywhere from $1 to $2 million, depending on how many anglers visit our community. It's not uncommon for us to host 4 major events a year. Another good thing about when we bring in tournaments of this caliber, they feel very welcome in our community because of the volunteer base. People are excited to see these anglers come in. The restaurants are excited, the gas stations are excited, and the anglers get excited from the participation that the volunteers share with them. So it's a wonderful opportunity for our community, and it showcases our community too, and it shows the positive sides and everything good about our community.
I'm Jimmy Lee from Jasper, Alabama. I've lived here all my life. I'm 77 years old, and I've really enjoyed Smith Lake all these years, ever since I was a youngster. Growing up, I've visited Smith Lake, and matter of fact, I've waded Smith Lake and just I've enjoyed it, and I still go fishing on a regular basis. And Smith Lake is such an economic boon to Jasper and Walker County, and I'm actually in the grocery business, so it's kind of a hand-in-hand deal with the impact that I see that comes into Jasper from even outside the state of Alabama and throughout the whole country. I remember when the earthen dam, which is 300 feet depth, and the maximum depth of that water up there is like 212 feet now. Of course, the dam has exceeded that, of course, but Smith Lake, and I remember even when it was rising and rising, and it came up much quicker than what they had anticipated. The rainfalls caused the lake to fill much sooner than what the power company or anyone had thought it would do. So I remember one Sunday afternoon, I had some guys that had turned a boat over, and Billy Richardson and I, who's a former national champion on the Alabama football team, he and I were up there riding around, and we saw a boat in the lake out there, and a couple of guys we actually rescued and pulled them to the bank. They may have not have made it. You know, and everybody knows, it's an extremely deep lake. It's the deepest lake in the state of Alabama. There was a lot of displacement, a lot of things that happened. Here's something kind of interesting. A gentleman offered my father-in-law just to give him a lot up there. He said, well, my father-in-law was in the grocery business, of course, and he said, well, I don't need a lake lot. And he turned down a pretty sizable chunk of change back in the 60s, but not taking that offer that his friend had offered to him, which was kind of funny. He didn't know the lots go for the kind of prices that they in today's market. Todd and I have a lot of friends that are professional fishermen. Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, Hank Parker. We're friends with those guys, and when they come to town, they come and visit with us, and we usually have some social functions to entertain them while they're here. And matter of fact, Roland was here about a month ago at a tournament in September, and he's a legend when it comes to fishing, and he's a personal friend of myself and Todd. We fish with him in Florida, and he's fished with us here, and it's kind of interesting to get to meet all these guys from Oklahoma, Florida, North Carolina, and this, you know, they come to Jasper to fish Smith Lake, and it's, you know, it's something we enjoy doing, put it that way. Well, the first national tournament was there in 1968. BSS came to Smith Lake in '68, and their second tournament, and it was won by Bill Dance. Everybody knows Bill Dance, matter of fact, I put Lon Richardson in the boat with him as an observer to watch where he fished and what he did, and then that's kind of interesting. And then he actually won the tournament, and we knew all his favorite places. And these pros can come in and find those places better than we could. So I told my buddy, I said, find out where he's catching all these fish, and we'll go back after the tournament's over. It's a kind of unique deal there, but that's where BSS started in 1968, second tournament here in Smith Lake.
Well, I'm Todd Lee. I was born and raised here in Jasper. I'm 51 years old now, and I've been here my whole life except when I was off at the University of Alabama. My father introduced me to fishing when I was a young man. I remember going to Smith Lake and being stuck up under the console of the boat with it snowing and just miserable. But Daddy'd hang one every now and then and call me and say, hey, I've got one. And that'd make me smile pretty quick, you know, to unhook, to reel one in and unhook it and watch him swim away. And of course, back then it was a little bit different than it is now. You also kept quite a few more fish back then to eat. So anyway, but Smith Lake's been very important to me for 45 years. I probably started when I was about 6 years old. And Smith Lakes is one of the prettiest, one of the most cleanest lakes in America. Super deep, super clear, and which makes for great spotted bass habitat. It won't have the largemouth that a Guntersville or a lot of shallow water lakes will, or Okeechobee, stuff like that, but it's one of the premier spotted bass lakes in America. And there's literally fish from one end to the other of it. It's got 550 miles of shoreline, and you know, you'll go someplace and they'll say, well, you need to fish this area of the lake, you need to fish that area of the lake. Well, at Smith Lake, that's not necessarily the case, because from all the way up at Double Springs, Highway 278 up the Sipsey River, so there's three major arms. The Sipsey River, the Rhine Creek is on the east side, the Sipsey River is on the west side, and the Rock Creek is the central lake, or the central arm of it. And the lake, all three of them are equally as good, plus the main lake. There's good spotted bass fishing in all of it. That's not to say there's not largemouth in there, because there are a lot of them, but it's predominantly spots because they really like the deep, clear, rocky water of Smith. And so once again, it's 550 miles of shoreline, which is a lot of shoreline, and there's fish around all of it, literally. So it's 22,000 acres, and you know, the fishing when I was growing up, it was always good fishing, but you caught a lot of 8, 10, 12-inch fish. You know, I mean, you'd feel the bite and say, well, this is another just real little fish. Well, it's not that way anymore. Thanks to the Department of Fisheries in Montgomery, they've done a great job implementing a slot limit. Oh goodness, we've probably had it 12 or 15 years now. And there is a lot of 13 to 16 to 18-inch spotted bass. And spots they just pull harder than largemouth. You know, a 2-pound spot, a 2-pound largemouth, you tie them tail to tail, that spotted dragging largemouth all over the lake. And they just pull so good. And so when you start getting up to 15, 18-inch spots, which weigh, you know, an 18-inch will be close to 3.5 pounds or something like that. And there's just literally thousands and thousands of them in the lake. So it's really one of the best places spotted bass fishing in the country. The spotted bass fishing has never been better than it is in 2017. And I just foresee it getting better and better because of the slot limit, and with all those herring in the lake, it's really a boon for lots of big spotted bass now. And when I was growing up, people didn't quote unquote want to come fish Smith because of the 8, 10, 12-inch fish. And now they look forward to it. National tournaments, the Bassmaster Trail has fished their elite series, well, not their elites, but their top 150s. They've had a lot of Bassmaster Southern Opens at Smith, 4 or 5 in the last half dozen years. And the FLW Tour, which is what I fish primarily, has had, next April will probably be our 4th FLW event at Smith, 4th or 5th over the last 8 or 10 years. And the fishermen really look forward to coming to Smith now because it fishes big because our fish from one end to the other. And so there's lots of opportunities. Everybody doesn't get crowded in little areas. And there's just so many spotted bass in the lake, and once again, when they're 14 to 18 inches, guys just like to catch them like that. So, and that's made such a big boon for the local economy, having 400 people come stay with you for a week at a time. So Smith Lake means so much to the fishery-wise, which is what I'm talking about, but I also see the boats and the skiers and the ski-doers and people riding all the wave runners and stuff. It is just a tremendous lake and such an asset to this area, and it's so beautiful. There's literally hundreds of houses going up all over the lake, and people come from literally all over the country to Smith Lake for a summer home.
My name's David Kilgore. I was born and raised here in Walker County, and today I'm going to discuss a little bit about the Warrior River with you in our part of the region here. Fished the river my whole life. It's a mighty diverse fishery. The Warrior River starts below Smith Dam. It's the Sipsey River in Smith, then below Smith starts the Warrior River, which runs down through Cordova, below Parish, Good Springs area, on down Jefferson County line, Walker County line, way on down to the next lock, which is lock, I believe, 17, I believe. Anyway, it's Holt Lake's what's below it. Our lake's called Bankhead Lake, okay? What it has is, have a lot of clear water that comes out of Smith Lake. That's what it's known for. Of course, when we do get big rains here, the river will muddy up, which fishing's usually better when the water's got a little color in it. The river's really unique. It has lots of wood in it, in the water over the years. Barge traffic, stuff like that, has blown it up on these mud flats. And it's got a lot of wood in the water, but also it has what's called water willow in it. Water willow is a grass that grows mainly on the bank. It'll grow out to 3 or 4 feet deep, big stalks and getting big, it'll just make a little field of it along the bank. A lot of lakes, Smith is just getting a little bit of it, but they let Smith up and down. The Warrior River, they don't fluctuate that much. It may fluctuate in a year, or from a day to day, they may fluctuate a foot and a half. That's about all they move it. So, but that water willow is really unique. It's good for the fish. Bait fish have somewhere to hide, so, fish get in there and look for them. Traditionally fishing on the river, summertime, super hot, it's a little slow, like it is everywhere else. But rest of the time of the year, the fall, spring and winter. Winter's what I prefer there. Spring's good to catch big numbers, but winter there on the river is just really, really good. When the water's really cold, it's pumping cold out of Smith Lake coming down the river. You always got a lot of current on the river because a lot of times, they're running it out of Smith Dam and on through Bankhead Dam. Of course, the power company, influences how much flow we get and how much they raise and lower the water. Our river, the part of the Warrior River here that we're on, it's not very developed. I mean, you have little sections that you have, some residential areas, but a lot of the river's just timberland, things like that. Where most lakes these days, are highly developed. So that's pretty neat. I mean, it is in areas developed, yes, but a lot of the river's not. Below Smith Dam starts the Warrior River. So below there you have the Mulberry Fork dumping into the Warrior River. You have some other major creeks, Lost Creek dumping in. You have the Little River dumping into the Warrior River at Houghton's Camp there. And the Blackwater Creek dumps in as well. So after you get all these major creeks dumping in, right around Houghton's is where the river goes from small to a lot larger right in that area. So, after you add, 3 or 4 major tributaries, it can't stay small for long. It starts getting big. And then it's really unique after it, behind Bankhead Dam, the river sort of just turns into mainly a river. You don't have a lot of major creeks dumping into it for a while, then in the next pool down. So it kind of gets small, big, and then kind of small again. So it's kind of unique in that way. The north end of the river's fairly tiny. It's not very big. I'm not sure geographic area exactly, but the Warrior River's probably not but 8,000 or 10,000 acres. It's not that big a place. And so it starts tiny up on our end. As it gets down to Jefferson County and, way down the south part of Walker County, it starts getting bigger there before the dam. It gets pretty vast down on the lower end. It's 2 different kind of fisheries as well. The northern end is mainly your better largemouth fishing, and the southern end, when you get into the deeper water, you get it a lot bigger, a lot more rock bluffs type things. The spotted bass fishing comes into play. So it's a great place, you know, to take your family, go brim fishing, crappie fishing. It's a highly desired crappie fishing destination. A lot of people in the winter, you go down there and there's crappie boats, you know, they daub in the cork everywhere you look. So that's something that, you know, people really like to do down there. It's kind of out of the way. It's kind of just a little, it doesn't get that much fishing pressure really. That's what's kind of neat about it, because it's not really really close to anything. You know, it's probably from where we're sitting here, 25, 30 miles. And from Birmingham Metro, it's probably 30, 35 miles, you know, that kind of deal. So it's not just sitting right next to a big place. So that helps keep the fishing pressure down. But overall, year in, year out, you know, the weights are really good. Right now, the thing's thriving. I mean, it's in great shape. They do a good job of, you know, keeping up, you know, the law enforcement, you know, checking you, making sure you got you're not over your limit, or, you know, things like that. I mean, they do a good job of keeping up with people, making sure it, you know, keeps being a very good fishery. But in all, you know, it's a great place to go, you know, great destination for someone, you know, to show up at daylight and fish till dark. You know, I mean, it's a gem for us to have, it really is.
I'm Brandon Jackson. I own and operate Riverside Fly Shop. We are below Smith Lake Dam. They generate electricity out of the dam and it flows into the Sipsey Fork of the Black Warrior River. We've been there for over 10 years now, and we fish for rainbow trout in the tail race, and it's the only place in the state where you can catch trout year round, and it's clear, cold. The temperature never gets above the mid-60s, and that allows the trout to flourish there. And we've had a great time doing it, introducing people to the river. When they're generating electricity, we travel downstream and use kayaks and boats to make our way down in those flows. But it's just been a great place for us. We do some fishing up on the lake and enjoy all that Smith Lake has to offer, but our main focus is on the Sipsey Fork and the opportunities that are there that are so unique. That opportunity, because trout fishing is something that trout anglers at least look forward to and look for, this stretch of stream gets utilized by people from all over the world. We've had people from Japan, from Australia, from Germany, all different people who come into either Birmingham or Tuscaloosa or to some of the factories for work, come and fish with us and take advantage of Walker County, that area, to experience that opportunity that's so unique within the state and is quite beautiful. The water flows out in the summertime. That cold water meets the warm air and creates a mist or a fog over the river that stays all morning long. And so you get some of the most picturesque scenes that you can imagine just by going down and taking advantage of that water coming through the dam, so cold, and then those warm air temperatures mixing together. And a lot of times the surface of the water will be clear, but about 5 or 6 feet up, the clouds will start. And so if you get just in the right angle, you see all the fishermen with their heads in the clouds, but you can make out everything else perfectly. And it's just a pretty scene, pretty environment. The trout fishing is something that does attract a lot of interest throughout this state, but also Georgia and Tennessee and Mississippi. And so we have a lot of anglers coming in to visit just to fish and see it.
Hi, I'm Ann Rutledge. I am the niece of Albert and Hazel Shoemaker, who are the parents of Sylvia Shoemaker Crump and Al Shoemaker. This is a story written by Al regarding his parents and where they grew up on the Sipsey River. In 1940, Albert Shoemaker and his wife Hazel purchased 80 acres of land in northern Walker County, which bordered the Sipsey River. The property consisted of a stretch of land about 200 feet wide, which ran parallel with the river and may have been farmed by Shoemaker's grandfather, William Jackson Rutledge, but they have no idea how he would have been able to get mules and equipment to the area if in fact he did cultivate the property. The terrain then sloped quickly upward, and there were 2 rows of sandstone bluffs and a level area at the top of the second bluff that was cultivated with corn and cotton by Rutledge. At some point in time during the 1940s, a 1-room cabin was constructed at the top of the second bluff. It was about 20 by 40 feet in size, with a concrete floor and a large rock fireplace on the west end of the cabin. A porch extended across the entire north side of the cabin, which looked out over the Sipsey River and into Winston County. A 2-hole privy was constructed near the cabin over a split in the bluff and presented a great target for the brothers and cousins to toss rocks at the roof of the privy whenever anyone foolishly occupied the same during daylight hours. The cabin was christened Camp Kittiwake, which was rumored to be the Indian term for make memory. Electricity was originally furnished by a gas generator, but that was removed after it caught fire and almost burned the cabin down. Water was secured from a spring located about 100 yards from the cabin under a rock cleft. It was the responsibility of all occupants under 16 to go to the spring before going to bed. The trip was usually accompanied by a fairly dim flashlight and was the darkest place this side of Mammoth Cave. The spring was located in an area that was ideal for snipe hunting, and all first-time visitors were allowed to hold the bag on these snipe hunts. The extended family would use the cabin in the summer, and various aunts and uncles supervised the children for a few days at a time. Their primary activity was to swim in the river. They would hike down a path to the river, a couple of 100 yards down and approximately 2 miles back, and stay until early afternoon and hike back. The trip was too strenuous to go more than once a day. Sipsey River was a neat stream with clear, unpolluted water. Because of the terrain, there was no cultivation or other domestic or business activity on the river to disturb the quality of the water or otherwise disturb the flow of the river. In the late 1950s, Alabama Power Company announced plans to construct Smith Dam, and about 65 acres of the 80-acre tract was conveyed to the power company. While the cabin was located at the top of the bluff, water from the lake covered the site to a depth of almost 100 feet. The cabin was leveled before the water rose.
My name is Sue McClendon Jones. I was grown up in Walker County all of my life. Grew up in Sipsey, a coal mining camp. As a child, I went to Sipsey School, and then I went to Walker County High School. I have 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy. And as a child, we went up to Clear Creek Falls for recreation. Where our parents were, I don't know. But we would walk out on the falls, which I would have a fit if my children were doing that. But it was a beautiful, beautiful falls. It was majestic. It was so pretty up there. I know it had to be covered up for progress, but it's a shame something that beautiful was covered. The falls, to me, they were just dynamic because of the way the water just flowed and flowed and flowed, you know. And of course they were building the dam for power sources. But it was a wonderful place up there. It was fun to go up there. There was nothing there except the falls. But you go up there and have a picnic, play with your friends, Hope your mother and daddy didn't find out where you were. But it was a really, really terrific place. Actually, when I was up there, the dam was not even thought about at that point in time. We did not realize when I was there that the dam was going to cover Clear Creek Falls. So, but now when they started building the dam, I did realize that. But it's progress, and it was a needed progress. Even though it was covering up something beautiful, it was still something that needed to be done for the water supply, for the power it produced. The lake supplies a great deal of Birmingham water. And also, I grew up in Sipsey, and at that point in time, when it rained a lot, Sipsey would flood. It would completely, not up into the mining camp itself, but down around the forks of the river. It would come over the bridge, the Sipsey Bridge, bridge, it would come over it in Sipsey, not on 69, but in Sipsey. And it would, if we were in school and it had been raining a lot and it started raining a lot again, they put us on the bus and shipped us home. Because every way we went in, you had to go over a bridge. So it was good because it controlled that flooding. It hasn't flooded since the dam was put in. But, you know, we lost beauty, but it was, we needed what it did.
I'm Donnie Grace. I grew up in this area and have been away for a little while, but I grew up born in 1949, so I was an older child when the Smith Lake Dam and what was to be Smith Lake started construction. And my dad grew up in the Thatch community, and his dad was a farmer, my grandfather, and he did a lot of hunting and fishing in the area where Clear Creek Falls was, and he knew that area, knew all about the bluffs and the hollows and the hills down in there, and spent a lot of time in that area. And it was intriguing to him, fascinating when they started talking about the dam and what was become the lake. And he would take us on a Sunday drives and a lot of day trips up there, watching the construction and seeing the progress that they were making. And they had an overlook up above where the dam is, where you could look down and see what was going on down there. And there was I went on later and became an engineer, finished at Alabama, and my technical wheels were already starting to turn, I think, because all of this was really fascinating. There's nothing a boy loved more than these big old Ute trucks, and they had the Ute trucks and pans down there working, bringing in the rocks and the dirt, and gradually you were seeing this thing come alive, you know. And the other thing that was fascinating to me is how they built a kind of a tunnel around one side of at the base of the dam to allow the water to go through while they were constructing the dam. And it was somewhat of like a bypass where the water could go through and keep flowing. We're about to close on the house that my mom and dad bought in 1956, closing in the morning, matter of fact. And that was about a year before they began the construction on the dam and what would become Smith Lake. And one of the things that I remember in that was how there was a fear in the area, since we lived down near the Warrior River and where it crosses 78, or where the 78 crosses the Warrior River. And there was a lot of fear in the folks in that area because of wondering what would happen if the dam were to break. And so we were very into what was, what was about to happen with all that. And we made a lot of trips, as I said, up to the area to see what was going on and watch the construction. And I can remember Dad warning me constantly after the lake went in about how dangerous it was up there, because they cut a tree line up to where the water level would end up, and then only down so far, and left trees down in the bottom that would be covered up enough that it wouldn't really matter, wouldn't be a problem for any boating or whatever. It was between those trees being down in there, and my dad being aware of all the bluffs and the drop-offs and the cliffs, and from his hunting days in there, he was constantly wanting to caution me and everybody about how dangerous that was. It was a big change to this area. I can remember when people started buying lots up there and building homes. I remember some that were at least one or two instances where they speculated on where the water they were told would end up, and it got a little bit too close, and they got some flooding and had to make some provisions around that. But it was a big change to this area, and I was thrilled to be a part of that.
Well, my name is Lawson Murphy, and I go back to the beginning of Smith Lake when I was a little boy. And my first memories of the lake is when my father was hired by Alabama Power Company. He was one of several foresters that they hired to cruise the timber that they were going to have to buy when they bought the land and built the lake. So he cruised, I don't know, thousands of acres of land for the power company, so they would have a value to offer people for their timber and their land. So that's my first memory of the lake. My second memory, I guess, of the lake is he found a lot way before the lake was built, and he and a friend bought 3 lots for $7,000, and nice acreage, a couple acres each. They sold the worst of those 3 lots for $5,000, and so the 2 of them had $1,000 each in their lot on the lake. Now that was 1960. Those same lots now would be $100,000 plus. So that's my first memories of the lake. As the lake filled up, our house was built about the time the lake was finished filling, and so just in no time, we had they had the 100-year flood, and the lake filled up twice as fast as they were expecting it to. I think maybe they thought it was going to fill up by 62 or 3, and it filled up in 61. So it filled quick, and just a lot of water happened fast. The power company didn't know how to manage the water flow because it was a brand new dam. They just, it was all new to them, and so for several years, the way our house is built in a very low spot, and the spillway of the dam is at 522 feet elevation, or 520, maybe it's 520. The lake is full at 510, 520 or 522 is spillway. So our house is about 1 foot above the spillway, but it's on a low lot, and the lake would come up and go all the way around our house. Okay, so about in 1963, Dad went to the lake, and there was 2 guys in a boat going round and round and round, and he couldn't get to the house except in a little rowboat. So he gets in the rowboat, he rows out to the house, which was about 100 feet, goes in the door, goes through the house, opens up the screen door on the front porch, and hollers at these people that are going round and round and round the boat, "Hey, you're tearing up, gonna break the glass in his house, and you're tearing the board and batten off our house." So they just kept drinking beer and throwing out the cans and going round and round and round. My dad said, "Look, if you don't stop, I'm gonna shoot you." So Dad always carried a 28 gauge shotgun in the back of his car because he's liable to come up on a covey of quail somewhere. Okay, now he wasn't hunting, but he always had his gun with him. So he goes back to his gets back in the rowboat, rows back to his car, gets in the car, gets in the back of the car, gets his shotgun, gets back in the boat, comes back in the house, goes through the house with a shotgun, goes to the front screen door, and says, "If you don't stop, I'm going to shoot you." And they drank another beer and threw out the can, and he shot them. And so, shot them again, had a double barrel. So away they went. They didn't ever come back. So that was sort of a Sam Murphy story, one of the many Sam Murphy stories. And that's one of my first memories of the lake. After the lake filled, and we were in our lake house, which is, he said, the second oldest house on the lake. It might have been the second oldest house on the Walker County side. I know it was a darn old house because the lake, it was finished before the lake was full. Smith Lake is a wonderful place. It's a great lake. It's a beautiful lake. Lots of bluffs and shorelines and empty shorelines, you know, nice timber, especially up in the forest, and a lot of unique and not necessarily hard to find, but a lot of plants out there that are pretty unique to the lake. And I can remember going out there with my dad, and we found a bush called a mountain camellia high up on a bluff, and it had never been discovered in the state of Alabama. And so he sent it down to Auburn, sent a sample down to Auburn, and they said, we think this is a mountain camellia, but we'll send it to North Carolina State University, which was a big-time forestry school also. So they sent this plant specimen up to North Carolina State, and they confirmed it, and that was the first find of that particular plant in the state. Mountain camellia, beautiful. We have dug up a piece of it and planted it at our house, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Beautiful color in the fall, beautiful blooms, very rare in Alabama. First one ever found there, so got to have a keen eye to find something like that. But Smith Lake has a lot of natural things that are plants and that are out there that you just don't find everywhere. So,
my name is William Ray Hudson, and I wanted to direct my what I had to say in regard to my great-grandfather. My family originated in Chester, South Carolina, and I wanted to emphasize the fact that my great-grandfather was a visionary. He wanted to find new land, new properties, and homestead, and this he did. He left Chester, South Carolina with 3 other families, and these families moved to, I won't talk about each place they stopped, but they followed major waterways coming toward the west. And the water was, of course, used for cleanliness, used for drinking, for different purposes. And he always what I know about him, seemed to make good choices where he camped. And so, to bring the story shorter, he ended up in Walker County, and he was looking for farmland, and the 3 families that were with him were Browns, Sherers, and right off by Browns, Sherers, and Brakefields. And these 4 families stayed together and homesteading. My great-grandfather homesteaded 319 acres of property. And he homesteaded, he was such a master at this, staying close to water all the time. Our property where I live today was homesteaded property. That 319 acres of property is some of that. And I can say that it had water on all 4 sides of this property. And the primary one I wanted to say a few words about was the Blackwater. Blackwater is fed by Mooney Branch. It's fed Town Creek and Tan Yard Creek, and so he had a vision of settling in a place that he could do a number of things. But the problem happened in making this, bringing it on down to a shorter span. He entered the Civil War in 1863, and he's not sure exact time. He was killed at in the battle over close to Atlanta, Georgia. So this left a wife and 6 children, and to get on down to my grandfather, he was left in charge. Out of those 6 children, he was left in charge of running, keeping the family going. And so he settled in an area on the Breakfield area road called the Hudson Settlement, but it's also the Blackwater Basin. And in the Blackwater Basin is the primary stream is Blackwater Creek. And I wanted to start up at one end of the creek that I'm familiar with. There was prime timber up on the north end of the creek, and this timber was floated down by water down to a mill that was established in Manchester, Alabama, which is a part of the Blackwater Basin. And in between those areas, there was Breakfield being a great swimming hole, a great place for recreation. And also on down, the next place down the creek was a place called Hudson Boat Landing. And this was used, this boat was used to transport employees across the creek to a farmland which had cotton, corn, and watermelons. Watermelons was a staple product of our family. And then the next stop down Blackwater was another place of baptizing. The Blackwater Creek had different things that were appropriate, and religious activities, social activities, all of these things took place up and down the creek. Another place on down the creek was a place that was initiated by Mr. Musgrove, L.M. Musgrove, and he built a dam across the creek and built a power plant on the side of the creek there at the dam, but it was never, he ran into financial problems and never finished. Back to where I live is the water line. There's a water line that runs a ridge across the Blackwater Basin. And what water that is on the north side of the water line goes to Blackwater Creek. What's on the south side of it goes to, first it will go into Mooney's Branch, and then on into also in Town Creek. From Town Creek it goes to Cane Creek. From Cane Creek it goes to Warrior River. So my home place is surrounded by plenty of water, and I must say this, that water has been a factor in improving the living conditions of these families that came over here to Walker County and settled. All of these families picked out land that was next to each other. All 4 families that I mentioned lived in proximity to each other and intermarried. So you have a lot of Brakefields and Hudsons, Browns and Sherers in this area.
My name is Billy Sills, and I am a native Walker Countyan. In fact, I can go back for 4 generations on both my maternal and my paternal side of the family of what took place in the dramatic beginning of Alabama and of Walker County. And I'm so primarily interested in the waterways because I'm a great fan of Dr. Wilson from the university. He makes me proud to be an Alabamian, but you know, just think about how he introduces so much biology and the fact that water has had such an important part in developing the state of Alabama, particularly this particular area, because we are an area of people that when they first came, we are on the northernmost end of the Choctaw Nation. In fact, there's a rock not too far from here that is the cornerstone of the Choctaw Nation, and early on, the Indians used all of the waterways. And Alabama, I understand, has the most prolific waterways of all of the states of the Union, among other things that they're very famous for. But the idea of my early people coming in here, early 1800s is a time that the world was in a sort of chaos. We'd just finished the War of 1812. And Andrew Jackson, that upstart from the West, was planning an invasion to take care of some Indian uprising. And he came through this very area right here and talked about how wonderful it was and how he could get across. There was a ford across the old Warrior River. And then all the other little local rivers like Lost Creek and like the Camac Mill on Blackwater, all those things, these were people that established very early. In fact, South Lowell on the Blackwater is about 8 miles north of Jasper, which is the county seat. And they terrifically wanted to be the county seat there because at this time in history, people began to settle and they had built 3 saloons, several mills of different kind, a sawmill that was run by water, and of course the grist mill that they ground up all the corn. In fact, my great-great-grandpa, Moses Camac, established this and raised a family and had a very prosperous area. There was almost 300 people at that time that came here early on that settled on Blackwater. In fact, it was supposed to be the county seat of this county when it was formed, but Dr. Musgrove, who was at Jasper, had a little more political pull, and he then was enabled the community at the capital to make Jasper the county seat, much to the disappointment of poor Moses. So he began to negotiate with Dr. Musgrove to make a trade because he terrifically wanted to build a hotel, a nice hotel. And when the railroads came and crossed and they came through Jasper, he began to negotiate and got permission to trade the land. But the land that is referred to now as the Musgrove Country Club, but at that time it was just the grist mill. Well, my great-grandmother lived there. Something had happened and her husband was probably killed or something happened. And she had 3 little children. My grandfather, Papa Elliott, was one of them. And one morning, a cow that was expected to calve did not come up. And at that time, they didn't keep people, cows and fenced in. So Grandpa Moses said, "Daughter, go out and find that cow before the wolves get, because the sides of the river were very much wolves. They were by the hundreds. There were actually black bear in this area at that time. It was a very, in fact, the Indians used this area primarily as a gathering hunting ground. And so she went out and went across the creek, and in an area, in a very wooded area, a wild hog came out of the bushes and killed her. And of course, this was where the circuit riders came from Tuscaloosa, up the Black Warrior, and into up the Blackwater Creek that came off of the Blackwater. And they began to, the circuit riders came. They came every 4 months. And they would stay for a protracted meeting for approximately 14 days. They built a great brush arbor. So when my great-great-grandmother was killed by the wild hog, she is buried in a tiny cemetery behind the tennis courts at what today is the country club for Walker County. When I was a little girl, Papa decided he wanted to go from Jasper up to clean off grandmother's grave. And at that time, this was early 40s or late 30s. And so the family was coming, and we rented a wagon, went up the road to what had become known as the Musgrove land. And we went into the area behind the tennis courts. This was one of my fondest memories as a child, going to clean off Grandma's grave at what later became known as the Jasper Walker County Country Club. And if you go visiting up to the country club, fabulous golf course. And of course the mill, the dam is still there across the river, and the mill is gone where Papa lived. But they have a very beautiful, it's a beautiful setting. It's almost idyllic in the lay of the land and the peaceful feeling. I feel like the spirits of my ancestors are right there behind the country club on the Blackwater. And this is the sort of influence that rivers and waters have on the state of Walker County.